lot of interesting detail about what these folks actually did. So you probably are going to want to take some notes, because this isn't going to be just glad handling. And then immediately after, a panel. Now, you don't have to, however, take frantic notes, because this presentation itself, together with a really nice booklet that details what the champions did, will be available right after the session. Mila's going to tell you about that. And speaking of Mila, I want to bring her on stage in just a second here. But I want to formally introduce her first. I mentioned her earlier. I have to actually look at my notes because she does so much for One-to-One. So Mila leads the editorial direction and operations of one-to-one-media.com, the One-to-One Media's weekly digest, Think Customers, the One-to-One blog, which I've written for. I really love it. Online videos and podcasts, and One-to-One Media's awards programs, including the CRM Excellence Awards and the awards we're here for right now, the One-to-One Media Customer Champion. So please welcome Mila D'Antonio.
Thank you for that nice introduction. I'm excited I had a theme song as I approached the stage.
This may be your new theme song.
Yeah. Well, no, if I had a choice, I think I would have chosen Renegade from Styx. I'm a huge Steelers fan, and when you go to the games, they play Renegade in the fourth quarter when the Steelers need a big defensive push, which they need a lot of these days. So,
Wow.
but enough with losing NFL teams. Let's talk about winning customer-centric leaders.
Yeah, because in Boston, we've actually got a team that's doing pretty well right now, just advanced to the playoffs.
That's true. So,
yes, Red Sox fans, yes, here.
Thanks to all of you for joining us today as we honor our 2013 One-to-One Media Customer Champions. Now in its 10th year, the Customer Champions program includes more than 100 customer-centric leaders who've really had success in advancing their company's customer-centric practices forward. These people don't just talk the talk, they walk the walk, and they're proof that thoughtful and determined leadership aligned with creativity and innovation really leads to customer experience success. And we'll be touching on some of these initiatives in a few minutes. First, let me explain the process and methodology that we use for choosing our winning customer champions. First, we invited business leaders from the community to nominate a champion, someone they thought really fits the bill. They filled out a nomination form, and our panel of judges read through the forms and then scored them based on 5 parts. This 5-part methodology included 5 weightings. 20% went to their customer-centric approach, 25% for customer experience value, another 25% for employee engagement, 25% for business value, and then we used 5% for their examples that really highlighted their initiatives. So who are our judges? Our judges included the One-to-One Media editorial staff, Tom Hoffman, Anna Papachristos, Cynthia Clark, and myself. 4 winners from last year's program: Greg Rhodes of Bentley Systems, Jill Nelson, Ruby Receptionist, Mark Stevens, formerly of Kobo Books, and Shelley Stotzer from Highlights for Children. And last but not least, Harley Manning. Thank you, Harley, and thanks to all of our judges for participating in the program this year.
My pleasure.
So now the moment you've all been waiting for, our 2013 Customer Champions. They include Edward Piquet of Aeromexico, Barry Ratzlaff of Hyundai, Jimmy Steve from Frost Bank, Julie Bernard from Macy's, Scott Tabor from Four Seasons, Karen Manji of Cisco, Tom Probola of Rico Systems, George Larabus from Wells Fargo Treasury Management, Matt Flannery from Kiva, Carl Hallback from ADP, Leo Minervini from Carlos Bakery, and Yori Weinberg from Kaplan University. So please put your hands together for those champions. You could read their initiatives in articles on one-to-one-media.com, as well as in the booklets that Harley mentioned we'll be passing out after the session, so please make sure you grab one on your way out. So we have 8 of the champions here with us today. They're seated over there. And Harley and I next will touch upon some of the highlights from their initiatives so that you can gain a better understanding of why they won the Customer Champions Award. Our first Customer Champion is Carl Hallbach, Divisional Vice President and General Manager of ADP Benefit Services. Harley, can you tell our audience why Carl is a Customer Champion?
Yeah, absolutely. So back in, starting in 2011, Carl led an initiative that discovered that the organization had become very internally focused, something that happens to all of us. And so the solution that they set out on was to create a global Net Promoter program that was client-focused, as opposed to the internally focused situation that they had before. So Carl chaired an initiative which standardized 97 client surveys at ADP, made them all standardized, and trained 20,000 associates in how to support closed-loop processes, which is the heart of really good voice of the customer programs. So, customer experience is now something that has become an enterprise-wide program, standardized globally, and it supports 9 languages. What's more, senior leadership at ADP has made customer experience measurement a strategic driver for every group in the organization. So, very impressive results and global. So that's Carl. Our next winner is Barry Ratzlaff. He's the Executive Director of Customer Contact for BlueLink and Service Business Development at Hyundai Motor America. Why is Barry the Customer Champion, Mila?
Well, Harley, I'll tell you why. Barry oversees many customer-facing units at Hyundai, including his own staff, vendors, dealers, and even partners, with employees totaling about 500. He engages in direct communication and recognizes all frontline staff across North America. This has led to employee retention increases as well as customer satisfaction increases. Barry's efforts are paying off. It's no coincidence that Hyundai's financial successes mirror his efforts to engage employees. Hyundai reported in June its best mid-year sales to date, and the company also recently overtook Honda as the #1 car maker for customer loyalty, according to a Kelley Blue Book survey.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's Barry. Our next champion also knows a lot about listening to customers and employees. She's Karen Manji, Director of Listening Services for the Center of Excellence at Cisco Systems. And Harley, can you talk about why Karen is a champion?
With pleasure, yes. Karen is someone who we actually featured in our book Outside In, as it turns out. So I know her work pretty well at this point. So Karen leads the Listening Center of Excellence. It's actually the Listening Service Center of Excellence at Cisco. And she spends 100% of her time making sure that the voices of Cisco clients, employees, and partners get heard by Cisco executives, and that action is then taken to address their needs. So this isn't just all listen, no action. And in fact, what's really impressive about Karen and her group is that the insights that they gather translate directly into improvements. For example, they have an improved website navigation system for their online support website. And this allows a lot more self-service. Big cost diversion play. How big? They estimate that they save over $300 million annually from this improvement that was done basically on the impetus of insights gathered by Karen's group. Karen also, by the way, in case you heard my opening remarks this morning, it's her group that gathered those insights that resulted in the changes at Cisco that saved them $20 million per month. That's a different program. In fact, I was adding up all the different savings that can be attributed to Karen's group, and it's over $500 million a year. That is super impressive.
She deserves a raise.
Absolutely, she deserves a raise. She deserves it, and she deserves an award. Let's give her one. So, our next winner is Tom Pravola. He is the Senior Manager, Customer Excellence at Ricoh Americas Corporation. So, let's hear, why is Tom a customer champion?
So, Tom really leads the charge at Ricoh for the company's customer-first culture. In doing so, he established several listening posts, hence the tin can image, across the organization, across various business functions, focused on various touch points. He established a customer complaint team as well as a customer council, and these teams really followed up on that feedback to make sure it was being directed to the appropriate people, appropriate business leaders, who then made process improvements based on those insights. He didn't stop there though. He recently merged the complaints department and the customer council team to form the customer experience group. And this group is tasked with customer issue resolution. And they do this by tracking customer issues, again, making sure that the appropriate people in the company follow up, logging those and tracking them all the way through resolution. And this has led to really excellent results. Customer resolution satisfaction has soared to over 95%, and customer satisfaction scores increased by 20%. So pretty impressive.
20% increase. I'll take that.
Yep, good. Our next champion, George Larrabis, he's also seen customer satisfaction rise. He's the Executive Vice President and Head of Client Delivery for Wells Fargo Treasury Management. And Harley, can you please talk about why he's a champion?
Yeah, definitely. It's the shirt.
There's definitely
we
a
saw the
story
shirt and we said, winner. No, it's... So as I was saying this morning, we know from the Customer Experience Index that 55% of customer loyalty for banks is driven by customer experience. So customer experience couldn't be bigger for banks. Nothing, in fact, not only can nothing they do match customer experience, everything else that they do added up together cannot match the effect of customer experience. So what George does is really critical. And so that's part of it. That's sort of context. But here's another piece of context. So you may remember the Wells-Wachovia merger. This was the largest U.S. financial services industry merger ever. And if you've ever been involved in a merger or an acquisition, I know I have, they're all tough. And this one was a beast. So in the middle of this, George rallied employees around a concept that he branded A+ service and support. It's kind of catchy. But it wasn't just a bumper sticker. So during 2012, as Wachovia, literally thousands of Wachovia customers were integrated into the Wells Fargo Treasury Management products and services, George's team answered over 1 million calls. And they closed 1.8 million open service issues. Now, all that volume, in the midst of all that, you'd expect customer satisfaction to go down? No. During that period, overall satisfaction with customer service went from 9.1 to 9.4 on a 10-point scale. So it actually went up. And I think that is just amazing. And also during that period, this wasn't the only thing George was doing. He also led an initiative that reduced the number of misrouted calls by 48%. And, misrouted calls, really bad customer experience. And increased the number of same-day resolutions of problems by 5% year over year. So amazing, amazing, measurable stuff. So that's George. And he also wears cool shirts. Our next winner is Scott Tabor. He is the Vice President of Rooms Americas for Four Seasons Hotels and Resorts. A really nice property. So, why is Scott a customer champion?
Sure, I'll tell you why, Harley. I'm hearing common themes of employee engagement and customer feedback that seem to be tying the winners here today, and Scott is no exception. He travels to all Four Seasons properties regularly to train the frontline staff to make sure that they're really understanding how to understand and meet customer needs. He also works with them to find ways to bridge communications between those employees and the customers. He recently implemented a regional dashboard that now all presidents and regional managers use globally. Data is being aggregated now on an individual level, and Scott says he's seen data insights being leveraged more in meetings across all the hotels that he visits. A recent Four Seasons feedback initiative that I loved was the hotels submitted the best ideas from customers over a 6-month period. The result was employees approached customers in lounge chairs at the pool and gave them suntan lotion and sunglass kits. And they just love this.
I would love that.
Yeah, right?
I'm gonna go to the pool here tomorrow and see if that
I
happens.
think we
bet
should
it
try
doesn't.
that out.
I bet that does not happen here.
So this went over well. Scott led this initiative, and customer satisfaction increased as a result. Our next customer champion is, I know, one of your favorites, Harley. It's Yuri Weinberg. He's Vice President of Marketing at Kaplan University. And Harley, would you like to tell our audience why he's a champion?
Yeah, Yuri is. In fact, I said when I was doing the judging, which is a lot of work, by the way. It's rewarding, but it's a lot of work. I said, if Yuri wins, I want to be the one to announce him, because yes, he's one of my favorites. So here's what Yuri did. So Yuri was one of the leaders of an initiative that created a program called the Kaplan Commitment. And this is a really innovative program, because what it does is it allows undergrads to enroll in classes and actually take the classes, try them out, and then they can see if this is what's really going to meet their academic needs, their educational needs. If they don't meet their needs, the class doesn't meet their needs, they can withdraw, or if it just turns out that it really wasn't for them and they held on too long and they end up, flunking out, they don't have to pay. They don't have to make a financial commitment. Now, what this means, among other things, is that they don't have to go to the U.S. Department of Education to, ask for funding for some class that's not going to benefit them and that's going to benefit us. So I think it's really ironic to be talking about this at a point in which our government is shut down because they can't figure out how to cut the budget, and Yuri's done it! Yuri is saving all of us money. So I think that's great. And of course, it's actually a customer initiative, and the customers here are students, and it's great for the students too. So what's happened is that because of this sort of try it before you buy it approach, the overall failure rate, the academic failure rate across Kaplan University has plummeted, and it went from a high of almost 30% in the 2008-2009 academic year to just 16% now. And that is just great.
Yes, it is. Well, maybe we can start a groundswell movement to get him elected to Congress.
This could be.
Yeah.
This could be. All right, so our next winner is Julie Bernard, who's the Senior Vice President, Customer Strategy, Marketing, and Advertising at Macy's, and who is giving George a run for his money for coolest,
Yes, that's a great
top
shirt.
picture. Absolutely.
I wonder if she bought it at Macy's.
I'm guessing. Why is Julie a customer champion?
Well, while Yuri was one of your favorites, Julie was one of mine for her ability to really give data a seat at the table, to put it. When she started at Macy's, she saw a tremendous opportunity to really leverage data, not just as a marketing asset, but as a strategic company asset, centering customers at the center of every decision Macy's makes, rather than products. Today, from her efforts, Macy's now is able to analyze a really granular level of behavioral customer insight across many channels. In fact, the retailer can tie 70% of all customer transactions to a single customer record and then personalize millions of communications in a very omni-channel way as a result. It's pretty impressive. Julie and her team now, recently, from these efforts, they were able to develop tens of thousands of unique and personalized catalogs, which ultimately led to a double-digit sales increase as well as a campaign lift. So we applaud Julie in her data efforts. So those were our 8 champions and their initiatives. We hope you enjoyed them. And now we invite them on stage because we have awards for them. So
yes, it's sort of like a graduation.
Yes. Carl Hallback, congratulations.
Carl, great job.
Barry Ratzlaff, congratulations.
Barry, congratulations.
Karen Manji, thank you, congratulations. Tom Papola, thank you.
Thank you so much.
George Larabus, thank you. Scott Tabor,
Great
thank you very
stuff.
much. Yuri Weinberg. And thank you to me.
There we go, Yuri. Hope I didn't embarrass you. judge. It was a real pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.